Well, I'm not uploading these things weekly anymore, so I'm gonna drop the name Mega Weekly in favor of the new name Megabits. Well, I don't think it's that original, but hey, please enjoy.
God sakes! Give me some subscribers! Hit the subscribe button! God damn it!
Okay, I don't have much time for this, so I'm gonna actually record this ad-lib. As such, I only have whatever is in front of me that I can explain what I'm trying to display my disgust about. Of course, we are talking about, once again, toys. It's like, this is like my only thing I do. It is so sad that I'm basically the Jay Sherman of toy reviews. And my work is just, it stinks! It stinks! The Jay Sherman doesn't give it a good rating. And if I don't give it a good rating, they're probably not going to give me any sponsorships. So, I'm basically the quote-unquote critic of Hasbro toy reviews. Although, there probably are more better critics than myself included. But that isn't exactly the point I wanted to discuss right now. That is for another day. Obviously, I still gonna carry that title of the critic. If you've seen that show, please do so. Give it a shout out. It's a very neat show. I'm not gonna lie. But today's word of the day is actually Fan First Friday or something. I think it's just like a fan convention because Toy Fair wasn't happening this year, so I know that there was going to be some product announcement. I mean, we had some product announcement maybe weeks ago for Wave 9. I recently just got Wave 8, and the reviews for that are currently coming up soon, but bear with me on that one there. That's gonna take a long while just to get those write-ups done. I already done most of the principal photography on those. Maybe some reshoots will be happening in the meantime, so I can get some more better lighting techniques and possibly a better composition of the photos as well. Now, today's news, and we will get to this right now. I'm not going to drag this out for many more hours or minutes. I really don't have that much time anyway. Yes, this news, the new Fan First Friday, and I was solely just disappointed with it. And you know why? There wasn't really much going on with it. In fact, it was almost worthless just trying to announce these figures because they were essentially reissues of the exact figures we got 2 years ago. And even though that I have all these figures, I have these figures displayed, they are the quote-unquote metallic versions that you only see for maybe 5 minutes within Season 3. And the most disappointing thing is that a lot of the rectifications that they tried to make, like these are the definitive versions of these figures. They are trying to tread on some ground, like it's some sort of new Genesis or the Zenith of Power Ranger action figures. Although we are already seeing a lot of errors, such as Tricera Ranger's horn not being painted on the metallic version when it was painted on the original, and his mouthpiece is still not painted properly. Of course, David Yost does not look like David Yost. They reused the head from Johnny on Bosch from the Zeo Green. Steve Cardenas' head is now actually referenced off one of the many photo cards that were released several years ago. And I need to look up the character's name of Aisha MMPR. Obviously, sorry, I do not know the actor's name, but I'm looking at that right now. She looks kind of decent. In fact, maybe she is probably the only winning take that, granted, none of these were really the most awing to me. As in such, I mean, it's just not wowing me over to even get these. And the worst part is, because I can't get these, they're locked away as exclusives, including the MMPR Sentry, which is a Target exclusive. Worst of all, is not a fan channel exclusive. If it was a fan channel, I would have been fine with it, but they had to go the extra mile and put it and lock away to US Targets, and all the metallics are essentially Hasbro Pulse exclusives. And this really contradicts the fact that Hasbro does not give two damns about its international market. So it was Karen Ashley. Karen Ashley kind of looks, like Karen Ashley. Now, here's the problem with this. I cannot get these items. Of course, me living in the land down under, and this is being locked away to only the UK and the US and Canada from now on. And the only way you could get these is by doing proxy shipping, but they don't do proxy shipping, as their list states that it cannot be sent to a post, cannot be sent to a PO box. I don't think it can even be sent to warehouses, and sometimes warehouses aren't willing to ship things from Pulse because of the length of this thing. Please refer to the barge incident that happened with Brent several years ago when he tried to get the sail barge of Hasbro Pulse through a HasLab project, and the US shipper isn't willing to ship it because of the size of this thing, which meant that Michael of Retroblasting had to ship it himself, bring it with him all the way from Nashville, I think it was, to Melbourne, Australia. This really proves the point that Hasbro doesn't give two damns about its international market, because it really tries to cultivate it by trying to force out these exclusives onto online platforms, and thinking that because they're contradicting that retail is dead, so we might as well push it out to several online outlets which most of the population of the world couldn't even acquire. And for those reasons alone, it shows that they have no self-respect for their international markets, even though most of the international markets is essentially like a chunk of their customer base. Please refer to exactly Transformers community, which is mostly stationed outside of America and elsewhere, and specifically its third parties were stationed in China, because that's where they can legally make these quote-unquote third-party products. But with Power Rangers, it's all over the place. Like Japan, you have America, you have of course you got some parts of Europe, and mostly Asia, and then there's also the Middle East, and literally the whole entire globe. That is not just the United States, Canada, and the UK. See where I'm getting with this? Because if it's an exclusive, and they're trying to circumvent the number of products because of reasons, and their testimony being that they can't produce the amounts that they wanted to, when they're exactly trying to shoehorn gimmicks that nobody wants into certain toys, or they're just trying to limit amount of product and then put it to places where literally nobody can get them, so they can pretty much artificially create scarcity and then create the problem for scalpers. They're trying to aid in that problem. They're not even helping anybody with trying to get these items very cheaply. And I don't want to pay like over $100 for these things anyway, because already I'm going to be paying $100 just to get these proxy shipped to a warehouse anyway, because they're going to be charging like $60 for shipping back and forth between Hasbro's warehouse to the proxy warehouse and then to my place or wherever the shipping address goes to, and then you have to add tax and then whatever, and it's just really convoluted mess, probably more convoluted than buying anything of Buy. So we're going into that territory. Sure, you want to argue that Hasbro Pulse still has these things, and well, honestly, I don't think this is really helping it. And exclusives are just basically an oxymoron to the point where, oh, I'm sorry, you can't get this unless you're willing to have the commitment, having to stay up till like maybe 3 a.m. in the morning, waiting till the countdown, and then the next few clicks it'd be sold out because they'll crash the website, and then so many people will be trying to get these items. We all know the drill, we all know the stories, we all know the horror that goes behind exclusives. We all hate it. And seeing that the suffering that a lot of the population where the exclusives happen to be stations, especially in the United States specifically, There will be a lot of people trying to hunt down these things at targets, because they'll be going around the country just to go to different targets so they can just find this one figure, which there's probably only one in stock, or if there is none in stock, their journey is pretty much adjourned to the point where they have no hope. I had so many people trying to. I had a fan who actually sent me a few stories that he was trying to find a Miles Morales in the United States, and I was shockingly surprised by the fact that he wasn't able to find Miles Morales, especially if it's a mass release and their distribution is very whack. And speaking of whack, I heard about Profit Director Destro, or Pimp Daddy Destros, in the G.I. Joe Classified line being hard to find in the United States, and I'm finding that he's in my comic book shop. This really shows the problem with Hasbro distribution. So, what are we getting from this? Well, we know that exclusives are bad. We know that Hasbro distribution is whack because they've been trying to send out products to areas that don't have demand, and then when there is demand, they kind of like shift it off to somewhere else. And then there is basically the problem with trying to find solutions to getting these exclusives that pretty much cost you an arm and a leg for this. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out very well in the long run, because if they keep doing this, they're going to destroy their own action figure market. And the action figure community and the action figure market is already fragmented, already broken, and they're already aiding to this problem. And I'm not the only one that tries to crusade for fixing the action figure market. A lot of people that review action figures of this contemporary or any sort of age are trying to fight for this. And I'm not alone in this. You should also be very well aware that artificial scarcity and having to set a precedent of buying habits should be enforced onto you. Yeah, this is really getting off hand, and I know that this is not working. And obviously, please, I would not be reviewing these figures. In fact, because these figures kind of really show that the biggest disappointments really come in the biggest packages, the biggest screw-overs, which is essentially the definitive versions locked away to a geoblock and then trying to limit it because reasons. You know, give us a like and a share, and there's some socials there as well.